What is going on out there, peeps? Is this man on Kitco, is he saying what I think he's saying? It almost sounds like he's rattling off a couple of, well, not a couple, but a nice little handful of NESARA, GESARA things that need to take place. You listen and you let me know what you think. Okay, before we get into that, you guys know this. If you're thinking about buying gold and silver, go check out our friends over there at Money Metals Exchange. The link will be down below in the description. If you're a first-time buyer and you spend more than $100, use promo code Pimpy, P-I-M-P-Y, and you will get a free half ounce of silver. For those of you looking for my address, there it is right here. And you guys know I have this alternative website, which I cannot stress this enough. I'm happy I have it because I'm allowed to speak freely over there. So go over there because there's a lot of information that you should be listening to that can help you out. I've spoken about this several times, and I told you guys I'll re-release some of my older videos. But in here, there's just... the only time I did videos were on the things that I could prove on here, all right? But if you listen to this guy, what he's saying, he does list off a handful of things on this list, which I thought was pretty interesting. So you're going to listen and you let me know what you think. Before I get going, though, because a lot of you went over and bought this, I don't want you to misunderstand what I'm saying, okay? Because people are like, okay, look, I can't say it because we're on a video, but on this platform. But listen, I spoke about this right here. Told you guys what happened when me and my boys got sick, all right? It's not that expensive, but I want to make sure I stress something. I should put it like this. Look. Helps. That's what it does. Okay? So we did take it when we had it. The RONA. Whether it contributed to ending it quicker, I don't know. I can't vouch for that part. I can only tell you this. The only reason why we took it in the first place is because we read an article and I told the boys, look, whenever you take this, it helps block or prevent. So that's what we did. Just to make sure it doesn't get any worse. For women, I can testify to this, or guys, depending whether or not you like this. You want to talk about hair growth and thickness and fingernail growth? Good Lord. You take this, make sure you follow the instructions, though. It just, man, I ended up having to clip my damn fingernails. It seemed like all the time, and my haircut as well. So, everybody's different. What I want you to do is, if you get this, read the instructions, follow it. But I'm curious, because I know I wasn't the only one. My boys' hair got long and their fingernails got long quick. So there's something about this that makes that happen. But, look, we already had this. Ronnie gave it to us. We took it. Dr. Ron I'm talking about. So, we have a lot of it. There's better deals. Like if you get over here, that's a pretty damn good deal right here, all right? For plant, if you're a plant grower... if you're a plant grower, this is what helps. You can use this same stuff right here. Helps keep the amino acids in your plant. You know what I'm talking about, okay? Anyways, I just shared this just because I had it and we used it. And I told you, whenever we felt better, the youngest said, oh my God, don't forget the icky water. Because it is kind of icky. Kind of want to, I don't know if you can mix with anything, but it's not that bad. It's just, it has a bland kind of taste to it. But yeah, so a lot of you are going, oh, this is what it's doing. I go, no. I don't want you to misunderstand what I'm saying. That I'm aware of. What I'm saying is we took it, but we know for a fact based on all the reports. You guys could do your own Googling and find out. Okay? Helps prevent. This. Put in there raw. Helps prevent. And you'll see. Okay, so the link is down below. This is a really good deal out there, you guys. And for people who grow plants, this is exactly what you want because it helps keep the amino acids in the plant. Anyways, I want to share that with you, and I'm going to keep stressing that. This is a form of preventive, if I may say. Anyways, listen to this guy right here. If I didn't know any better, man, he just listed off a thing of NESARA, GESARA. You let me know what you think.
That leads to the second part of our discussion, which is macroeconomic investment trends. Doug, I'd like to follow up on what you said previously and talk about solutions to the problem. So we've already discussed some of the major problems facing the country and abroad. I want to hear what solutions you think could be implemented on a private and public level to fix these problems. What are some of the positive changes that you're looking forward to as an investor that could drastically change the investment landscape?
Well, Rick can tell you I'm the first one to look at the bright side whenever that's possible. And the bright, the bright side is that gold stocks are very cheap now in both relative and actually in absolute
Gold
terms.
stocks.
And all these trillions of dollars.
Real quick, I'm going to interfere because I want to be able to comment on some of the things he's saying. He's telling you that minor stocks, gold stocks, are really cheap right now. It's not going to stay there. We know this. Minor stocks are way down. Way down.
That the federal government is creating has created bubbles. We've seen a housing bubble. We've seen a tech bubble. We've seen a pot bubble. We've seen a blockchain bubble. I think the next bubble that's going to be discovered by the Robin Hood kids is going to be these junior mining stocks. Most of them are crap. The mining business itself is a crappy industry for all kinds of reasons. But
he said junior mining. Calm down.
The good news is that it's the most volatile class of stocks on the planet. And
plus, keep in mind, those people are affected. Minor stocks are affected by the manipulation of the market. They screw over mining companies because their profit margins are very low. A lot of them went bankrupt because of the manipulation of the market. But if I was the mining companies, I would hold back my supply and say, screw them.
And they'll discover that since 1971, when gold was freed up, there have been 5 major bull markets, especially in these junior stocks, when the market as a whole has gone 10 to 1. So when the Robin Hood guys discover that, they're all going to pile into these things, and people like Rick and I are going to make a bundle. The ducks will be quacking, we can feed them. So that's some good news. It's not going to change the big problems that we have. You want to know what my solution is for the big problems?
Okay, listen to what he's saying.
You've got to abolish the Federal Reserve. You've got to go back to gold as money. You've got to disband about 90% of the U.S. government. You got to withdraw all American troops from abroad, probably default on the national debt so that the next generation of Americans aren't turned into indentured servants and the people that have been financing it are punished.
Woo, is that NESARA? GESARA? This dude literally must be going down the list, the top part of the list. And seriously, bring back our troops, go back to the gold standard, get rid of 90% of our government, abolish the Federal Reserve. I was like, this dude's reading NESARA GESARA.
All kinds of things. None of that's going to happen, though. It's fun to talk about it. I enjoy it. But the big picture is not going to change until the whole rotten structure that we have today collapses, and then it's rebuilt. The only problem is when it's rebuilt, it's probably going to be worse than it is now. Just like during the French Revolution, wonderful that they got rid of Louis XVI, except then they got Robespierre, and then Napoleon, and the Russian Revolution. They got rid of Nicholas II. But then they got Lenin, and then Stalin. So that's what happens when a major country collapses into a smoking mess. Things don't get better, they get worse.
For the record, those citizens turned in their guns. I just want to make sure you understand that. Here in the United States, we must fight that at all cost.
But, hey, we're like cockroaches. We'll survive. Don't worry about it.
Rick, I'll let you respond to the first part of Doug's answer here about mining stocks. I know you have a lot to say about mining.
Yeah, and I agree with Doug's analysis of mining stocks. The truth is that a precious metals bull market is something, as Doug suggests, that's special to behold. You know that I've drawn Kitco viewers' attention for years to the Barron's Gold Mining Index stock charts. And they really show the cyclicality and volatility of markets. But in particular, as Doug suggests, they show the extraordinary upside that occurs in good markets. And I think that we're in the early innings of a bull market in precious metals and precious metals equities. that will continue to reward investors extremely well. People ask me, and by the way, I've talked to 15,000 individual investors this calendar year. That's a lot of people. And people say, well, Rick, the gold price has recovered from, 1,000 to 1,900. What can you hope for? Well, the decade of the 70s, it went from $35 to $850, admittedly price controlled. Maybe a better example would be 2000 to 2011, where it went from 250 to 1,900. The gold equities, of course, do better. Never mind in gold bull markets, but in recoveries from oversold bottoms. We've had 9 of those during my career. The index itself has recovered in the most tepid recovery, 160%. That's not the best stock, that's all the stocks. And in the best, 1,200%. So my suspicion is that the next 2 to 3, maybe even 5 years, will be very generous to precious metals and to precious metals equities. The surprise, I think, for everybody 3, 4, 5 years out will be that after a period of real underperformance because of economic weakness, that we will have a supply-led bull market in industrial materials, reminiscent of the one that we enjoyed in the 2000 to 2006 period. This won't be as a consequence of a great economic recovery, but rather as a consequence of systematic underinvestment in the means of production in terms of natural resources.
I wanted to point out, did you hear what that guy said? In order for us to recover, in order for us to do anything, and then he said, we need to do the following. And then he laid out the list off to NESARA. And I thought, as he was speaking, I was like, holy crap. All right, but we're not done. Let's get over to our girl, Lynette Zhang. All right, she has a great way of explaining things to people like you're a second grader, which I love. She's going to explain to you a little bit about inflation.
I'm Lynette Zhang, Chief Market Analyst here at ITM Trading, a full-service physical gold and silver company.
Physical.
And, they keep talking about inflation. We need inflation. Inflation is a good thing. Well, I'm going to let you decide if inflation is such a good thing by looking at what happens to the purchasing power of a $1 Federal Reserve note and then a $1 gold coin. Because in the beginning of this currency's life cycle, or just before 1912, 1/20th of an ounce of gold backed a $1 bill. And you could buy 11 loaves of bread with that dollar. But then they started to transition and take value out of the money. And so by 1920, well, this was only 8 loaves of bread. So there's 11 here. That means that we need to take 3 away. Okay, so, all right, not too bad after all. The system was flooded with money, and you could still convert this into a 20th of an ounce of gold.
A 20th of an ounce,
wow. By 1933, well, see, it was really good for people because that 20th of an ounce of gold or of $4 actually could buy you 14 loaves of bread. So we've got, let's see, we've got 8 here, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, and 14. Let's put that there so it doesn't topple over. Okie dokie. Well, then the real devaluation began. So by 1971, what would have bought you 14 loaves of bread, well, no, hun, now that only buys you 6. So we just need, well, here's 6 here. We'll take all the rest away. I think you're starting to get the picture of what it is that I've been talking about. Okay, $1, 6 loaves of bread. Okay, by 2000, when there was another monetary regime shift and they went to inflation targeting, because remember, peak debt hit in 97. Oh, okay, well, let's get rid of this because $1 only bought, okay, a little bit more than half of a loaf of bread. So let's see. We went from all of that to roughly that.
Wow.
By 2020, okay, a dollar only buys you, and I'm going to tell you, this is the cheapest bread that I could find. Okay, a dollar only buys you that much, or maybe even a little bit less. There you go. Can you see the pattern? And you volunteered it because you don't understand inflation by design.
It's not the price that we're watching on gold and silver. It's the value that we want to increase.
And perception management keeps you in the system and keeps you believing that, well, this dollar can't but help to regain some of its past value, especially when it's still the dollar. So they have the digital dollar coming up.
Remember, she's only talking about 1/20th of an ounce of gold. 1912, 1/20th of an ounce of gold buy you 11 loaves. 1920, it bought you 8. 1933, when things were better, you got 14 loaves of bread. 71, you got 6 for 1/20th of an ounce. In the year 2000, you didn't even get barely a half. And where we are, and when 2020, you barely got a third. So keep watching, because listen what she says and why you should own gold.
And I gotta say, that enables them to keep this game going because there's no limitations to the numbers that they can go out past that 0.00. But a 20th of an ounce of gold as of 8/24 would buy you 28 loaves of bread. So we're going to put this right back in. Plus, we're going to add back.
Keep in mind, what she was saying in the beginning was your dollar used to buy you 1/20th of an ounce of gold. She was showing you throughout history how much bread you could keep or continue to buy at those different times with that same $1 bill, the fiat dollar. But what you're noticing is she's saying back in 1912 that $1 bought you 1/20th of an ounce of gold. She went through, showed you what a dollar bought you still today. Now she's showing you what that 1/20th of an ounce of gold buys you, not the dollar. Forget the dollar now. She's talking about the gold that $1 would have bought back in 1912. That's what she's showing you now. This is the difference. Okay? There's a difference between the value of gold versus the price of gold. The value increases. Who cares what you see on the spot market? It doesn't matter. Okay? 1912, $1 bought you 1/20th of an ounce of gold. She went through history showing you what that same $1, the fiat dollar, would get you in bread. Now she's showing you what that same 1/20th of an ounce would get you today in bread versus the fiat dollar.
All of these and this.
What?
Oh. And these.
You guys getting her point? Do you see this?
And these.
This is why I love her.
We're not done yet. Here's some more. There's some more.
Look at.
Here's some more. And even more. Can they see me behind all this bread? Not if I
That's
sit
what I'm
down.
talking about. The difference between the price and the
Okay,
value.
there.
You get more value. Look at more value, more purchasing
One
power.
more.
One more.
Get the picture?
Yeah, I do.
This is why you need gold.
Thank you. Okay? This is why I love this woman. She has a way of explaining things like you're a second grader without being disrespectful. All right, you guys?
So I would say that without a doubt, it is time to cover your assets. And you do that with the Wealth Shield, which is made up of physical gold and physical silver in your possession.
Thank you. Anyways, I just wanted to share these two things because I thought it was interesting that Kitco, the person that was doing the video, definitely sounded like he was talking about NESARA, GESARA. All right, if you liked the video, hit the thumbs up button. If you're not a subscriber, please do so, because when you do, it helps out the channel. And I surely do appreciate it. And I'll talk to you later. I'm out.